Hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast by RCB College. Today, we are going to talk about scholarships and bursaries and how you can benefit yourself from these government available opportunities. Joining us today is Dr. Ridhi Lodhi, who is going to talk about all of these differences between scholarships and bursaries and how you can avail these opportunities. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you, Usama. Thank you for having me here.
So, let's start with something fundamental. What
Mhm.
is the difference between scholarships and bursaries?
Yeah, absolutely. So scholarships are generally awards, which is basically a free money that you receive, but it's based on your academic performance, or if you have done some sort of community service, they consider that as well. Or basically, for example, if you're into sports and you are top of the notch performer in sports, you can have scholarships for that as well. So it's more of based on your performance as compared to bursaries, which is based on needs. They of course look at your academic performance, but it's more of like, okay, this person wants to pursue a certain program. They are in a desperate need for money, but they cannot afford. They consider things such as your income, what program you're applying to, and they also consider how many children you have, like dependent children, that you have to support when they're calculating the amount for the bursaries.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So, where can you find these opportunities?
So, good question. So, basically, these opportunities can be found in multiple places. So, for example, first and foremost, like let's say, for example, we are in the RCB college right now, and RCB college itself may have scholarships or bursaries that they may offer in terms of the programs that are being offered. Other places is a place called Student Aid Alberta. So if you go to Student Aid Alberta's website, on the top panel, you will see a tab called Scholarships. And over there, when you click on it, they have thousands of scholarships available over there. And they also have a list of bursaries. Now, good thing about the Student Aid Alberta is that whenever you apply for a loan, they actually consider you for grants and bursaries and scholarships at the same time. But let's say there's certain private bursaries or scholarships. I would say, for example, Jason Lang Scholarship. You do need to apply for it. There's deadlines for it. So that's one of the sources, which is the Student Aid Alberta. There is also government websites which are available, which is across Canada website. And that one is also available, which we will, of course, share at the bottom of our screen as to what those websites are. So again, government scholarships are there, bursaries are there. You have the Alberta, which is the provincial. So like say, if you're in BC, you will have the BC scholarships as well and bursaries as well. So yeah, these are some of the sources that you can utilize in terms of applying for scholarships and bursaries.
Talking about scholarships, a lot of students don't know about these scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they are trying to get themselves enrolled into a college or a university,
Mm-hmm.
the number one factor is that how are they going to pay for it? And they talk
Exactly.
themselves out of it. What are the most common reasons why they have talked themselves out of the education?
So some of the common reasons a lot of students opt out of education is the money, of
Mm.
course, because they're not able to afford, the programs that they're applying for. Now, the only thing that they think about is, hey, well, I don't have money saved up, or hey, I can't afford to get a student loan, and that's where these scholarships and bursaries come in, grants come in. Um, let's say, for example, if you're working for I'm just going to use this as an example, and I'm not saying Walmart does, but if you're working for Walmart, they may have some sort of grant or scholarship for employees as well, right? So because students don't have enough knowledge about what are the resources that are available to them, they end up quitting instead of looking around. So the first and foremost thing you should be doing is going on Google and typing scholarships and bursaries available in Alberta and Canada, and that will give you all the resources that you need in terms of how you can finance your education.
So, talking about the resources, whenever we're talking about scholarships, are
Mhm.
scholarships only academic?
No, absolutely not. So some of the scholarships, if you go to Student Aid Alberta's website again, and go under the scholarships tab, you will see the different categories of scholarships. First and foremost, of course, is going to be the academic one, but they also have things such as, let's say, if I were doing community service, and I'm very prominent in doing community service or volunteering. So they also have scholarships related to that. It's called a leadership scholarship. We also have sports scholarship. We have music scholarship as well. And then there's a lot more categories depending on the type of programs that you apply for. So for example, if I were to apply for, let's say I want to be a doctor per se, right? So doctors actually have different types of scholarships and bursaries because doctors are high in demand, or other medical careers are high in demand. So they will have specific scholarships attached to those as well. So it's not just academic, it's also related to other umbrellas of things.
While all of these programs exist, do students have to have a strong application to get those scholarships, or is there like a whole process behind it? Maybe that's why students don't go with it.
So yeah, so the biggest myth that people have is, oh, I'm not a high performer, like I'm not a straight A student, therefore I cannot get a scholarship. This is not true. Individuals with like let's say B plus, or somebody who has had average scores but they have been doing community service, or somebody who has average score but has been doing some sort of sports and they're performing really well in sports. So there are combinations of factors that are taken into consideration. There are steps that needs to be followed. So first and foremost is to start off early. So let's say if I were in grade 12 right now, I'm in the beginning of grade 12 and I know that I want to apply for so and so program in a particular college, right? So I'm going to go on to the Student Aid Alberta's website, for example, and I'm going to go read through each and every scholarship and see what are their eligibility requirements, what documentations are required from the individual who is applying side and also from the school side, right? And then you apply in advance. So let's say my deadline is July 1st, per se, for a particular scholarship. Instead of waiting until July 1st, why not start applying maybe a month ahead, right? So that you don't miss that deadline, because deadlines are very important. They may not, you may completely lose that scholarship, the chance at that scholarship if you miss the deadline. So these are some of the things to consider when you're considering scholarships and bursaries.
And also applying widely as well.
Yes, absolutely. So don't just limit yourself to one scholarship. Like if there's 1,000 scholarships available or bursaries available, why not apply, right? So one of the bursaries that I'm going to mention is the Northern Alberta bursary that's available, close to $14,000. And it's associated with a certain program that you pursue. Now, people are not aware of this, right? So they don't even consider looking at it. But if they go onto the Student Aid Alberta's website, which we will show, of course, to the viewers, they can see that I can get grants or bursaries up to $14,000 for a particular program, but I never applied for it and I never considered it. So that's something to think about. There are several excellent resources that I always recommend to potential students. One of them is Alberta Student Aid's website, which is studentaid.alberta.ca. The second one, is a scholarshipscanada.com website. It's a national database. You also have Alice Alberta, ALIS, which is alice.alberta.ca. And the fourth one, it's Inspire, so INDSPIRE.ca. And these are some of the vital resources that you guys can utilize in order to apply for scholarships and bursaries. Okay, so we talked. It's a very good question. That are these scholarships only academic scholarships? No, they're not. So if I were to show you right now, if we go on the Alberta Student Aid's website, we click on these scholarships. As you can see, that there are different types of scholarships. So first and foremost is the academic scholarship, of course. You also have athletic scholarship. You have the citizenship/leadership scholarship. This is a really important one because this has to do with volunteer and community service that student may be doing, which gets into consideration for scholarships and bursary applications. You also have the indigenous scholarship. You have the language scholarships as well, and you have the technology scholarships. So these scholarships or slash bursaries are available. We can click on some of them to see what are some of the options I may have. So as you can see, I just clicked on one of them, which is the academic scholarship, and I have tons of options available here. Now, if I were to click on any one of these, let's say, for example, I am a high school student, and if I just click on learn more on the website here, it will take us to the appropriate area, and it will explain to us what are the deadlines for these scholarships, like this particular scholarship per se. So what does an ideal candidate look like? What is the eligibility criteria? How much does UWC cost? What should an applicant know? And there are some other resources available on the website. So this is, as we go through each and every scholarship, they have their own eligibility requirement that we can meet. One of the ones that I would like to highly recommend is the Northern Alberta Bursary Award. That's also available on the Student Aid Alberta's website, and the leadership slash community service related scholarships and bursaries. One of the bursaries that I wanted to mention to everybody is the Northern Alberta Development Bursary (NADB) program. So if you can see on the Student Aid Alberta's website, currently I have that open in front of you. And this bursary can be up to $14,000. This can be pretty much two semesters of a tuition for any particular program, depending on what program you are pursuing, right? And so they have different categories in here for this bursary. For example, Northern Alberta Development Council Bursary, Medical and Dentistry Student Bursary, Nurse Practitioner Bursary, Pharmacy Student, Veterinary Student Bursaries. So they have different categories, and they have the selection process and eligibility requirements here as well for that. So as you can see, that is not just one scholarships that we deal with. Now, some of the tips that I can provide in terms of applications for these scholarships and bursaries is, again, start off early. Make sure that you have an authentic, personal statement. Don't just copy and paste from anywhere. It should sound legit. It should be legit when you're applying for these scholarships. They really look at your personal statement, and a personal statement is essentially how will this scholarship benefit you, what are your needs, and how is this going to help you achieve the goals. These are some of the things that you cover in these personal statements. Make sure that you have lineup of references early. So if you're a high performing student, or you're a high performing athlete, you ask your coach, your instructors, or your teachers for references ahead of time, so that when you have those documents ready prior to the application deadline. And create a scholarship toolkit, right? Have a folder ready, so you're not constantly trying to create documents for each and every scholarship. And make sure you apply widely. So don't just rely on higher end scholarships. For example, like this one, you should be relying on smaller ones as well, because smaller ones can add up. $500,000, $2,000. Let's say you applied for four, and all four of them $1,000 each. You won, and you got $4,000 right there. So that's something to consider in terms of when you're applying for these scholarships and bursaries.
All right, thank you so much for all of that information.
You're
Any
welcome.
final thoughts for the students?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. Please do not stop yourself from applying to educational programs just because of financial reasons. Try to find different avenues which can help you achieve your educational goals. If finance is the only reason that you're not able to pursue something, there are many, many resources out there which can help you get the money that you need to support yourself in your educational journey. And scholarships and bursaries are some of those resources. Grants are some of those resources. Student Aid Alberta, like if you're in Alberta, then student loans are some of those resources. Your employers, they may have some of the programs which may support your educational journey as well. So that's something worth inquiring about. Um, And if you are some of the actually religious places also, they provide funding to students. Maybe worthwhile to kind of consider that as well. So there are many avenues that you can explore in order to support your educational journey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lodhi, for joining us and giving
Thank
us
you.
all of this valuable information.
Thank you, Sama.
Thank you. Take care.